by himself for the last segment, and I had prepared a little talk for this show because I think it's really important. Down in Houston, President Trump introduced the N-word, nationalist, and it caused the globalists on the left to lose their minds. And I think this was another classic Trumpian move to force them to take the bait. Because what he's going to explain, I think, in upcoming rallies is that nationalist means patriot. It means America first. And I think that the vast majority of Americans agree with that. And this I think, deserves a little bit of an explanation about why it's so important. You know, globalism is a plan like communism that requires a complete takeover of the world. And the biggest obstacle to this plan, this spreading across the globe of Soros, is free nations like America that stand as examples of another way. And something I've really thought about a lot, there are three things that are required to have a free, meaning you're not under any kind of tyranny, successful and affluent, meaning you have a high standard of living, you can live in a decent house, control your own life. So a free and affluent society requires three things. Number one, it requires at least an average IQ among the average population. You have to have pretty smart people to figure this out. It requires a free market economy. It won't work under socialism. And it requires a cohesive national identity. So you can see some examples of successful countries would be the USA, various European countries, Australia, New Zealand, and more lately, since World War II, Japan and South Korea have shown great examples of what people can do when they have national cohesion and a national identity, and they're smart, and they unleash the power of the free market engine, the wealth-creating machine of the free market. Anything is possible. If you look at Seoul, Korea, or Tokyo that were flattened in World War II, and you look at their skylines today. Now, some countries can become wealthy, but not free. That would be communist China. So they've unleashed some of the free market economy, but politically it's still a tyranny. Now, if you have a group with a high IQ, like the USA has had, and you want to see the USA destroyed, one of the ways that you do it is to trigger the country into accepting millions and millions of low IQ people from the third world. This does two different things. It lowers the average IQ, and it also destroys the national cohesion. It balkanizes the country. So if your goal is to destroy the United States, to wreck it as a successful free country, you would do this, exactly this. I have nothing against people from Honduras, but I think their average IQ is like in the neighborhood of 80. Now, there are a couple of concepts that it's required for people to grasp in order to have a successful society, and these concepts just don't click with people who have low IQs. One of these concepts is deferred self-gratification. This means that you have the ability to conduct long-term planning, long-term thinking. You know, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to go to medical school. I'm going to work my butt off for 10 or 15 years. But in the end, I'll be way better off, as opposed to people with a low IQ. As soon as they get a job, they get drunk, they buy a car, they crash the car. They never can get out of that cycle because they can't plan long-term. And the other concept that's key is enlightened self-interest, meaning, in one example that it works politically, if your political party loses, you don't go Uganda and kill everybody that won in the election. You don't go Hutu and Bantu like Rwanda. You just say, all right, we have to retool our message. The important thing is that we maintain the rule of law and a civil society even when we're out of power. Low IQ people can't comprehend that. So these two concepts, deferred self-gratification and enlightened self-interest, they are key. Low IQ people cannot grasp these or the importance of free market capitalism to become a wealth engine. What this means is that demagogues, once you have enough low IQ people, a majority, demagogues will always be elected on the promise to these people that they're going to kill the golden goose. They say the golden goose is a conspiracy of the rich, and we're going to grab that goose and get all the eggs and give it to you. Intelligent people would say, wait a minute, you can't, if you kill the golden goose, there'll be no gold tomorrow. That's deferred gratification, enlightened self-interest, free market economics. If you bring in enough really, low-level IQ people, you are bound to turn your country into a Mexico or a Honduras. It just goes with it. So globalism, I would consider a secular religion like communism. This is why you see the rage on the left. To them, it really is a religion. It's like you're attacking their religion when you attack globalism. When you say you're a nationalist, to them, you are the antichrist to their secular religion. You are attacking the foundation, which is that all peoples have to be leveled everywhere. The Kalergi plan has to be conducted across the entire planet until there's no Germans, no Americans, no Canadians, just one mixed people with a low IQ who are going to need the elites as like a ruling class to be the brains of the operation. Of course, the elites will live in gated communities. They'll, fly helicopters because these morons that they're in charge of can't possibly, run the society on their own. Of course, what we're seeing now with the so-called caravan is this plan being put into action. Another way that this plan is put into action, and it's been succeeding for the last almost a century, the Frankfurt School in Germany was transplanted to Columbia University, then spread throughout the American university system. College teachers that then become high school and grade school teachers are brainwashed with this Frankfurt School, the Gramscian long march through the institutions idea, to where now we're producing out of high school little zombie robot social justice warriors. That's why the NPC meme idea is so powerful, because their heads are full of idiocy. They believe, for example, that we must welcome Islam and we must also be against women being attacked. Well, if you put the two together, women get attacked, but they're just little brainwashed zombies. So we have, from within our own society, a rising generation of millennial idiots that have been brainwashed into believing globalism, which any kind of analysis, it falls apart. Just what I've said in the last 10 minutes would red pill anybody capable of second level thinking. But to the globalists, it's all worth it, because they truly believe that as long as the USA and Europe exist as successful beacons, as examples, they're never going to accomplish their globalist dream. They have to literally wreck Germany, wreck Sweden, wreck Australia, average everybody out to somewhere between Honduras and America, which might be like Mexico, and then we'll be run by these elites that are, in their own mind, sort of a new aristocracy of the brainiacs who will be running the entire show, whether we like it or not. We'll be the serfs on their plantation. That's why they hate it when we make memes like this. I've been kicked off of Facebook 30 days, 6 times in the last year for posting memes like the ones that we've just seen on the screen. That gets you banned on Facebook today, putting up memes like this, 30 days at a time. So they definitely want to control the narrative and shut it down, and we're winning. The fact that this hoax pipe bomb scheme is unraveling in the first day shows that they can't control the narrative. All of their tricks are backfiring. So we really do have a great chance at making a breakthrough with the midterm elections. But what it's going to come down to is voting. It's who's more motivated. If we do like we did in 2016 in electing President Trump, if we send a message, the jobs versus mobs, if we get out there and we just assault the precincts early, online, mail voting, in person, but we have to swamp them. It's the only way we're going to just slap down the left and set them back on their heels and maybe come through this and educate ourselves about this long-term globalist plan. It's the only way we're going to come through it. Anyway, thanks a lot, and I'll see you the next time they have me on InfoWars, which I hope is soon. Bye-bye.